Good morning. No, it's not 9 o'clock Central, but I have a bunch of stuff that I need to get done today. Four really big deal things that need to be taken care of today and a whole bunch of appointments. But I didn't want to miss out on my Friday financial tidbit. So I'm online just a little bit early. I don't know how many people are going to be able to catch it live. That's okay. It's going to be posted here for the replay. For today, I want to talk about something that I came across this morning. I'm having my website redone, so I'm going through all of the old postings that I have, and I came across a blog that I wrote back in June of 2017. So it was a couple years ago. I had taught a class in Oklahoma. I was flying out of Oklahoma City. I was headed back to Washington, D.C., which is where we lived at the time. And I was sitting next to a woman who struck up a conversation with me. I'm not really good at starting those conversations normally when I'm on the plane. Like, I'm engaged in my work and I'm reading and I'm doing stuff. But she started talking. And she was 88 years old. She was flying to DC on that day because she was going to celebrate her cousin's 100th birthday. And she told me she was so excited to be going because she'd always looked up to her cousin and she wanted to grow up and be just like her. And now her cousin was celebrating her 100th birthday. So she was very excited about it. I love meeting people who are older than me, who have, already gone down the path, so to speak, because they generally will have some tips to share that can be very valuable if you take just a couple of minutes and listen to them. So I told her what I do for a living, and I said I'm teaching people about retirement, and I come across people all the time. So if you were standing in front of the group and you were talking to people about their retirement, I asked her, what would be the top 3 things that you would say to somebody about planning for their retirement? She said, number 1, people need to start saving now, even when they don't think they can afford to. Even if they can't save very much, they need to start saving now so that it has an opportunity to grow, so that when they do retire, they're going to have some money to live on. You know that I firmly believe in that. And when I'm teaching my financial literacy classes, I run examples in there of saving just a little bit and having that build up over time. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to do the live stream. We're doing it early, so that's different in and of itself. I'm able to enjoy the outside, which I love, so that's a little bit different. But also, when I find a couple of minutes today to type up this blog, it will be today, but I'm going to put a link to that in the comments. And in that blog, I'm going to show you an example of saving just a little bit and having that grow over time, to show you exactly what this very intelligent woman was telling us, that we need to start saving ahead of time. The number 2 thing that she said was, people should know that they need something besides Social Security in old age. Cost of living increases all the time, and people need to prepare for that. I absolutely agree with that as well. And when I run my financial literacy classes, again, I do some comparison for people in there to go, okay, if you're lucky enough to work for an employer like the federal government and some other companies that will offer a defined benefit, that's a pension that you know you're going to get every month, and the military does that too, how much is that going to be? And I do some estimates. And when you get to be 62 or older and you're drawing Social Security, how much is that going to be? And specifically, like, what's the average, right? Not that you're average, not that I'm average. There is no average, in my opinion. That's a whole nother thing. I'll save that for another day. But if you are average and you've got that pension and you've got the Social Security, how much does it total? And what do you want your life to look like in retirement? Because I don't think that you want to just live and pay bills. I don't. I want to be able to have a little bit of fun and go and do things, but that costs money. So in making the plan for how much I need, and then looking at what my pension, if I'm lucky enough to have one, and a lot of people don't, what my Social Security is going to cover for me, then I need to figure out a way to bridge that difference, to fill that gap. And the way that I'm going to do that is by saving and investing and making sure that I'm accumulating some money for myself. So I'm going to run an example for you in that blog as well. Hey, Robert, how are you? It's Awesome to see you here, man. You got some really interesting stuff going on. I love seeing you in the group. I'm sorry that I don't have an opportunity to get in there very often. My business is getting back to normal. I mean, I was just go, 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 and hit that wall and everything shut down. And now everything is picking back up virtually. I'm not traveling as much as I was, but I love seeing what you're doing. It's awesome. It's awesome. So good to see you here this morning. So my seatmate was saying, right, number one, start saving as soon as you can. Even if you think that you can't afford it, find a way to make that happen. Number two, know that you don't want to just rely on Social Security, that you should be putting aside some money, savings, investing, so that you can take care of yourself in your older age. And the number three, she said, and I didn't make this up. I'm not making this up, but it's going to be right in line with everything that I talk about all the time. I have what I call a retirement triad. I created that a couple of years ago. 3 things that I firmly believe that we all need in retirement. One is money. We do need money. So we've already covered that with the other 2, right? That's the wealth. But we also need health. Because if we don't have good health, we spend all of our money trying to take care of that. Or again, then we don't have a very happy retirement. We can't control everything. I get that. But there are a lot of things that we can control. So I believe that we need wealth, we need health, and we also need a level of personal fulfillment, something that lights us up, that makes us want to get up in the morning, that makes us want to engage in the world around us. And if we are lacking one of those things, everything is off balance. We need all 3 of them. So I believe that. You hear me talk about that all the time. But the third one that she said really made me smile, because she said people need to know that it pays to take care of your body. And she was talking about herself. Here she is, 88 years old. She said that she has high blood pressure, but that's the only issue that she has. She's taking classes at the community college every semester so that she can learn something new. And she was talking about her 100-year-old cousin, who she's going to celebrate this birthday with. And she said that she had recently lost her husband. They were married for 76 years, but that she was still engaged in a number of groups in her community. She was doing things with her sorority. She was doing things with her church. And she takes an exercise class 3 times a week. How much do I love this? How much do I love this? So we wrapped into that the health and also the personal fulfillment, engaging with other people, even introverts, and I am one. I like my alone time. But even introverts need to have some human interaction. We are human, and that's just how we're made. So by going out there and meeting with these groups and interacting with them, she was getting that personal fulfillment piece. She was taking care of her health, and she gave me 2 tips for wealth as well. So I found that incredibly valuable. I am going to write the blog, as I said, and I'll put a link in the comments so that you can read a little bit more about these examples and see something that's concrete for you too. But I'm going to ask you today for some input. I'm going to ask you, what is the number one piece of financial advice that you have at some point been given that really made a difference in your life? What is the number one piece of financial advice that somebody told you about and you followed it and it's made a huge difference to your life? For me, so I gave you the woman on the plane, I gave you her 3 tips. For me, I think the one, and nobody actually told me this, but I just learned to do this myself as a young single mom and coming from the background that I came from or whatever, and that is live within your means. Live within your means. And I'm now, I don't know if you can hear that, but goodness, the birds are flying around here. Live within your means. That is a lesson that I try to pass along to my grandchildren right now. I was talking to my granddaughter just yesterday, and we're going to the store, and she's like, "Grandma, will you buy me this big thing, whatever?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to buy that for you because you don't need that. It costs a lot of money. We don't have the money to pay for that right now." Now, because I'm trying to give her a lesson, right? I'm not being mean. I'm not just saying no, but I'm also giving her the background explanation for why we're not going to buy that right now. And I talked to her about saving her money. So she's 8, The tooth fairy occasionally visits her. She gets some money for that. She's done different chores and things around the house and done some special things for me, so she gets some money for that. So now I have that as a lesson to talk to her about the value of saving for money, especially if there's something that you want over here. And she was like, yeah, but my friend has it. Right. And so we can use that as a learning tool too, to go, okay, your friend has it, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have it, right? We all have different things, and we don't have to keep up with the Joneses, right? But that's the most valuable piece of information or advice, I guess, that I would share, which is to live within your means, not to worry about what everybody else has. If you want something, get it in your budget, make a plan for how you're going to save for that, but you don't need to have what everybody else has. Robert, thank you for the much needed encouragement and enthusiasm. I'm doing my best to keep up with the Joneses. Yeah, in that group. I love that group. And this, for those of you who may be watching this later on and you don't know exactly what we're talking about, Robert and I both did a challenge in April. It was called LIDA, Live Every Day in April. That's when I started my live stream. Prior to that, I think I had done 2, and they were pretty awkward. Not saying that they're not awkward now, but in that leader challenge, every single day, a group of us got in there and we did a live stream. And I definitely feel so much more comfortable than I did back then. And Robert went through that, and he's just been doing some really creative things as well, and trying to put together some webinars and working with companies to try to help them pivot through this new environment. So super excited to see that happening. I love it when people have the ability to take skills that they've learned, that we've practiced, and put them into everyday life and actually use them. Again, that's what I do in my life, right? That's what my business is. So I love to see that happening. Great question. One advice my dad gave me as a former stock broker is to take the dividends earned on an IRA or stock and reinvest the additional shares to build up equity. That's an excellent piece of advice, Robert. Thanks for sharing that with everybody. Yeah. And a lot of times, so when I am doing my classes, you can hear people ask about harvesting their earnings. And when you're harvesting your earnings, you can do a couple of different things with them. Like sometimes people are very close to retirement, and they're really nervous about having investments in the stock market, and because they're getting ready to go out the door. So they're taking a little bit of risk. They're investing in stock, but then maybe every quarter they're harvesting what their stocks made, and they're putting it over here into a very safe bond or something, so that it's not in the risky market anymore. So they're pulling them, but they're harvesting them and putting them in the safe fund. Whereas the advice that your dad gave you, not being close to retirement at the time, was to take those earnings and then reinvest them and essentially buy yourself more shares so that those can continue to grow over time. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Lita does rule, Paul. Yes. I agree. It was so much fun. If you're watching the stream and you're just interested in getting into live streaming as well, you want to know what that's all about, they're going to be having another challenge in August. So we went live every day in April. They're going to be doing a live every day in August. If you want to know about that, hit me up. I will tell you all about it. It's awesome. You get to interact with the same group of people every day for the full 30 days. You really support each other, help each other. I got so much out of the interaction in that group. So much, in fact, that many of us have stayed in touch, and we're continuing to support each other and run tests with each other and just kind of work stuff out. It's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Okay, guys, listen, I've got to hop off here. I do have a bunch of appointments to get through today. I apologize if you were expecting to see me live at 9 o'clock Central. Surprise, but I did want to at least leave you something. And don't forget, I would love it if you would give me that one big piece of financial advice that somebody gave you in the past that worked out for you. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. It's so great to see you. I hope everybody has an amazing Friday. I'll talk to you on Monday. Take care.